Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be diving in and looking how I took this sketch and put it on my iPad and turned it into this finished product. So let's do it. So I just dove right in. I had a pretty good idea of what I wanted this image to look like since I had doodled it on my chemistry notes. It was going to be Turgor doing a little heel click in the middle of a forest. So I started off with a thumbnail. I figured that the original sketch was a little too small for me to get a good idea of what the pose was going to look like, so I blew it up a little bit, and I had pulled up some references on my iPad of people doing heel clicks because I wanted to make it look a little natural, and I decided that since it was going to be an Inktober themed drawing, because I did this while it was still October, I wanted him to be holding some sort of inking materials. And the image was going to be black and white, and who knows, maybe Turgor does like to draw. I mean, for those of you who don't know, Turgor the Toad is my original character. He's a happy little 12-year-old toad. He lives in a 1950s-ish era village in the forest. Him and his family moved there, and they're living in what used to be his grandma's house, but his grandma passed away, so they moved in to his grandma's house. And he really loves science. He's a pretty smart little guy, and yeah, he's just finding his way in this new town. And he used to come here to visit his grandma back in the day, and they would go and play in the forest. And his grandma was always like, "Oh well, you never know what you're gonna find in the forest." And he was like, "Yeah, okay, grandma, whatever. Like, monsters aren't real. Like, it's just the 1950s, you know." But who knows, maybe there is some adventures waiting for Turgor in the forest. I guess time will tell. But back to the drawing. We moved into a bigger thumbnail yet. I flipped the pose a little bit. And then I wanted to ink it just to get a little more defined look. So I got my Tombow brush pens. I love these brush pens. They're fantastic. I use them for pretty much all my inking. I like his puffy little sweater. I don't know if I've ever actually seen a sweater like his. It's kind of like a bomber jacket, but more like hoodie-like, and it's got like all those crinkles because they're really fun to draw. And the ribbed wrists and around the waist. He's wearing his jeans, and he's just having a good time in the forest. I want my inking to be somewhat reminiscent of Bill Watterson with Calvin and Hobbes, because I love Calvin and Hobbes, and he's such a talented artist, Bill Watterson is. So yeah, so that's what I whipped up for the thumbnail. So after taking a picture of that, I threw it on my iPad and adjusted it a little bit and began doing some final line work. And the thing about sketches, why sketches always look so good, and you're like, oh man, I love this, the gesture, it's really there, and it looks alive, is because you have so many lines there that your eye just picks the best ones, picks the ones that it likes the most. But when you go into line work, you can't define all those lines. So it took me a while to iron out his pose because I had to pick the right lines, and I switched up a little bit, but I got there. And then I started adding a little bit of environment. I wanted to do some little poofy flowers, those little circular flowers. Maybe they're dandelions that are ready to have their seeds blown away, but I think they look cute. And then I threw some birch trees in because they're really fun to ink, and a few other types of trees, just so that I can have some tonal variation when I come in with digital watercolors like I am right now, because you want a little bit of contrast. I think this image would actually look really nice colored, so I might do that one day, but for now it's just a tonal study, if you will. And I put some light shooting through the leaves there, because who doesn't like some dappled lighting in a forest? Just the word dappled. It's a good word. Challenge you to use that word today. You'll probably feel better for it. I was trying to figure out some border options, but they all look sloppy, so I just ended up shrinking the image and giving it a little bit of a rougher border. So there you have it. You got to see my process, how I took that sketch from my sketchbook, sauced it on my iPad into this finished illustration. And you also got to hear a little bit about Turgor the Toad along the way. If you liked what you heard and you like this happy little man, well, you can support him and me by purchasing a Turgor the Toad hoodie. Pre-orders are open for 5 more days. You can go check out the link in the description, and it is to his Instagram. You can DM him and order a hoodie. There's also limited run t-shirts. I'll toss an image up there that you can look at. And yeah, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, so might as well jump on board. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and if you have any more video suggestions, you can toss them in the comments. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.